If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Kick off summer with Memorial Day savings at Lowe's. Right now, get 5 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. Plus, get up to 40% off select major appliances and save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select major appliances $396 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/28. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill here in Denham Springs. Welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Max Gotro needed the day off after carrying Jimmy on the golf course all weekend, so we're going to give him a little bit of grace today.
You don't know how much of an understatement that is.
I can guess.
Whatever you imagine, it was worse.
Right. Yeah, well, look. Max is an excellent golfer, and you're not. So we sort of figured a nice event for
not a golfer period, but that Fallen Oak is it's a treat, man.
Yeah, it's one of the real nice perks of going down to the Beau Rivage where we are all fall and part of the spring. I understand it was an excellent event, and glad you guys had a good time. Glad Max was able to carry you on the golf course over the weekend. We got a lot to get to today between the end of the regular season in college baseball and the top 8, and a long discussion about that, the NBA playoffs, the PGA Championship, the Preakness. But we start today with breaking news. About an hour ago came the word that President William Tate has resigned at LSU. He's been there since 2021. So this is an LSU story, so it's sort of a sports story, but Tate came from South Carolina. He was the executive VP over at the University of South Carolina, and he's worked at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, at Washington University in St. Louis, and he is headed to Rutgers. This is not a huge surprise, maybe the timing of it, but when is the timing going to be perfect? Tate was the first African-American president ever at LSU, and I don't think it was a real big secret that this was not going to be his final job, that he was looking for something that would eventually get him in the president's role at an Ivy League school, and this is probably a step in that direction. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on the administration for every school in the Northeast, but I know Rutgers is a pretty good school, so he'll be closer to that. And this was sort of a lifetime goal for him. Tate, in my opinion, did exactly what you want a president to do from an athletic standpoint. I'm not going to speak to any other portions of the job that ain't my corner of the store. But what I want from a president, I'm going to speak as a fan for a second, is to let the athletic director and the coaches do their job, show up and cheer, and give them the resources with which to operate and largely stay out of the way. I've been a big proponent on this. Jimmy's heard me say this a million times. This works very well when the chain of command goes in the order that it's supposed to. The voters elect the governor. The governor appoints the president along with the board of supervisors. They hire the athletic director. The athletic director hires the head coach. The head coach hires the assistant coaches, and we go on down the road. It gets screwed up when the chain of command is upset. I don't like it when athletic directors try to hire assistant coaches. I don't like it when governors try to hire head coaches or athletic directors. This chain of command seemed to run pretty smooth, and that's all you can ask out of
I thought he's way too involved.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Behind the scenes, absolutely.
In what way?
Oh, well, you want to start with Will Wade?
That's
Huh?
that's
start with
one.
him?
But I think that the athletic director had a lot to do with that too. But go ahead.
I think he's been way more with athletics and in other way more active, kind of making his mark than I remember when I was in school. You were in school, and just kind of the kind of behind the scenes William Jenkins and those type of guys.
Yeah, there was another layer when we were in school
he was
too.
Trying to make his mark, man.
There was a chancellor. I didn't see where he really. The Will Wade thing, I think, was probably a joint decision. I don't know that he was the driver behind that. He certainly had to okay it, and that's part of it.
He did not like Will Wade. He did not want. He wanted him out. And
he wasn't the only one.
He was a. Well, there are a lot of people that want him too.
Yeah. I meant in the administration that wanted him out.
That's not his job.
No, it's
that's not his job.
It's the athletic director.
He was a big deal. He was a big.
You think the athletic director fought for Will Wade?
No,
I don't either.
No,
that's where I.
But
the athletic director,
my sources told me constant Tate. No, take this. No,
I didn't. I
never remember William Jenkins. So it just didn't work.
Jenkins did not meddle at all. If the athletic director had fought really hard for Will Wade and the president had overruled him, I would agree with you. I thought that the athletic director had the final say on that. We'll never know for sure. We weren't in those meetings, but at least they were in lockstep on that. The president and the AD both wanted him out, and they got him out. We thought that was a mistake. We still do. The rest of it, I thought he let Woodward hire who he needed to. He let him hire the football coach. He, largely stayed out of the way with that. Has he let him spend too much money? Probably. That's an ongoing theme with athletic directors right now, that you're spending way too much money because you need all of this money to run an athletic department now. I think that more or less I thought he stayed out of the way.
I disagree.
Okay, that's cool.
For me, Tate, say la vie, bro. See ya.
If you're looking for, and I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of names because, frankly, I don't know who a lot of administrators are that would apply for this job. It's a pretty attractive job. It pays really well. It's a pretty big school. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest in it. One name that is going to come up, and I don't know if he's going to get the job or not, is Eric Monday. Eric Monday is the executive VP for finance at the University of Kentucky. He's been there since 2012. But before that, he was at LSU for quite a long time. He was basically the finance director when he was here. He was the administrative services and CFO at LSU in 2010 to 2012. But before that, he had held other positions at LSU. He's got 3 degrees from LSU. He got his bachelor's, his master's, and his doctorate, all from LSU. So he's got a lot of LSU ties. He's been working in the league a long time. And, well, that's a name that you're probably going to hear a lot about, Eric Monday at Kentucky as a prime candidate for this job. Will he get it or not? Who can say? So that's, again, the president, from an athletic standpoint, generally the president is best when they are doing something else. Let the athletic director run the show until you think the athletic director can't run the show, and then you change the athletic director. I don't like it when you change steps, and maybe he did have a little bit more to do with the Will Wade thing than I'm giving him credit or blame
Tate's
for.
not an LSU guy.
He was never going to be here very long. This was always going to be.
Eric Monday used to live a few doors down the street from me. Yeah. He's an LSU guy.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
Spent half his life here.
When you replace, so I think that there's some people that were some LSU people, long-time LSU people, a little like, hey man, this outsider, you're not going to be here long, man. You need to blend in a little bit more. And it was that's a lot of the criticism I heard about Tate.
Yeah,
like you knew he wasn't going to be here long. You don't care about LSU.
Well, it doesn't mean he didn't do his job. I mean, this was never his dream job.
I think he did more than his job. Okay. He did too much.
It was always going to be a stepping stone job for him to go somewhere else. We knew that when he got here. It was 3 to 5 years was the pretty much the chalk on him. When a better job came up in the Northeast, he was going to probably take it. So. That's what happened here. We'll see how long it takes him to fill a position. Eric Monday is a name that you're going to hear. You'll probably hear some more in the coming days. But that news coming out here just about an hour ago. Other than that, how was your weekend? We had the golf. We had John Foster came up a little bit short last night. Spent my no NBA last night. Watched that yesterday afternoon.
The weekend.
The golf was there. So I watched all of American Idol last night.
Yeah, man.
And he came up just short. I finished second, but good run, and he'll have a great career. I don't know how. It's a nationwide vote. They had, I think, 30 million people voted. So
it's all on a vote.
It's all on the vote. Yeah, the judges don't do anything at this stage. I think it was the all-time high. I want to say it was somewhere between 25 and 30 million. Yeah, they had twice as many people vote as last year. And the only reason I know that is they said it on the broadcast. They don't release the tally. At least I didn't see. But it was probably close.
You knew that thing you attended was going to come off good on TV, which it did.
Yes,
it did. I mean, it's.
The other ones did too. All three of them had a parade. All three of them had a concert. They all looked good.
I knew the blonde haired girl. She wasn't going to get it, but anyway,
she sang really well.
But it was Charlie. It was kind of an unfulfilling sports weekend. Man, let's start off Friday night. I thought we were going to have a classic. In the garden, man, that was terrible. I mean, it's good for the Knicks. But, I mean, that was
blood.
the worst clinching game lost in the history of the Boston Celtics. They've been in a lot of series. So, but, I mean, yesterday, about 10 minutes, 21-10, the Nuggets were up, and that was it. That was not close. It was even a hockey. They had a Game 7 last night. That was a blowout. I mean, the one thing was,
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we're back here at Big Mike's. Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. Also, new Handycast coming your way this afternoon on LSU Baseball. Me, Cano, Doug Thompson will have that dropped hopefully in the mid to late afternoon this afternoon. So LSU wins 2 out of 3 against South Carolina. This went not exactly like LSU had hoped, but when they held Anderson and Ianson for the last 2 games, they assured themselves they'd be big favorites in both of those games. Kind of rolled the dice a little bit to win game 1. Could have, but didn't. But they rolled in the last 2 games. Anderson and Ianson pitched very well, though Ianson struggled a little bit with his command early in the game on Saturday. Self-admitted, did not have his best stuff and still put up a really good line. Excellent offensive weekend for Jared Jones with multiple homers. Good to see the Bear coming around a little bit as the postseason starts. Also a big weekend for Daniel Dickinson, Jake Brown, and others. So there's a lot of talk now about did LSU do enough? Well, we went going into the weekend. We thought 2 wins, they get you to 19 in the SEC, and that really ought to be enough. And I still feel that way. And I'll explain why. I know that Hunt, and he and I exchanged texts yesterday morning, got a lot of angst going out there when he said, hey, listen, I don't think it's exactly 100% done. And I know why he's saying that, but I disagree a little bit, and I'll explain why. D1's baseball's projections came out with LSU at number 7. And if you just hear that on the surface, you think, well, then you don't have a whole lot of slack in the rope. I think they have more than what a number 7 seed. First of all, the rankings, this is just what D1 Baseball thinks that the committee will do. They don't know. Kendall and those guys are really good, but they don't know for sure. And Rogers himself thinks that LSU is a lock. I've heard him say that. He put that on Twitter. Baseball America and D1 Baseball both have LSU number 1 in the polls, which, of course, doesn't mean anything to the committee, but it's another reference point.
8th in RPI.
8th in the RPI.
RPI is leaned on the committee. Just give Barrett McTell's
very much
more than the rankings.
Very much so. First of all, no SEC team with 19 wins has not gotten has not gotten a top 8. So let's start there if we're going to talk about precedents. LSU won 7 out of the 10 series, and that includes wins against RPI top 10s, Alabama and Arkansas, also one against Tennessee, which is a top 20. There's enough on the strength of schedule that you're fine there. I could just say they finished third in the SEC with 19 wins, and I could stop there, and that would probably be enough. But let me put a little bit more context into this. For LSU to fall out of the top 8, somebody's got to catch them. Now, this top 8 includes 6 teams from the SEC. So there's not a lot of SEC teams that are not already in that could come from behind.
What's their top 8 again?
The top 8.
D1.
Texas is number 1.
All right.
Arkansas is number 2.
Okay.
Vandy's number 3.
Wow.
North Carolina, who won 2 out of 3 at Florida State, is number 4. Georgia, by the way, they didn't win the ACC. Georgia Tech did. Georgia at number 5. Auburn at number 6. LSU at number 7. And Oregon at number 8. Okay, so this is all the SEC teams. There are no in their projections. There are no SEC teams that are between 9 and 16. Okay, no, there are no hosts. There's 6 national seed, but there are no other host sites in the top 16. So nobody is coming from behind.
Alabama, with a non-RPI.
They lost that series at Florida 2-1, and they are not in.
Tennessee took 2 out of 3 at Fayetteville.
No, they lost
2 out.
They lost 2 out of 3.
They won the first one, lost the next 2. Okay.
Yeah, Alabama is a 2 seed in their projections going to Clemson. So this means that 2 non-SEC teams have to come in and take their place. So who's number 9? First of all, number 8 is Oregon, and I think LSU is clearly out in front of them. I don't see Oregon passing them. Oregon State is number 9. Oregon State has 3 fewer Q1 wins than LSU. They have a inferior strength of schedule to LSU. They're behind LSU, and they don't play any more games. They're an independent. They're an interesting case study. They could get a top 8, but it's not going to be in place of LSU. It would be with LSU. The number 10 team in this projection is Coastal Carolina. Okay, they are 4-5 against Q1 teams with a strength of schedule of 71. They won the Sun Belt. That's fine. They are not taking LSU's place. No way. Florida State is number 11. Now, this gets a little bit tricky because they have only 1 fewer win in the Q1s than LSU. They have a 17-10 record in the ACC, and their strength of schedule is just an eyelash better than LSU. If they were to win the ACC tournament, well, then they would be in contention. But it would be awfully tough for them to catch LSU from where they are right now. And keep in mind, only 1 team can win the ACC tournament. So whether we're talking about North Carolina, who's right there, Clemson, who's a little bit further back, or Florida State, everybody else is taking some losses. So there's going to be some wiggle room. And the same thing goes with the SEC. Only 1 team can win the tournament. After you get past Florida State, you've got Clemson, who's only got 8 wins against the Q1. And then you're at UCLA, who is 3-7 against Q1. Southern Miss is 14.
No, Southern Miss can't catch LSU.
They're not doing it.
No.
So, to me, yeah, you're 7. But even if LSU, worst case scenario is that LSU loses on Friday. Their RPI is not going anywhere. This is a Q1 game. This is a neutral site game against an SEC team. And if it's against Auburn, all the more. I mean, but even if it's against Mississippi State, there's nobody to come catch them. If there were multiple teams right there, regardless of how these tournaments come out, I cannot mathematically, no matter what metric the committee uses as their top. RPI, Q1 wins, road record, whatever it is, strength of schedule, there's not 8 resumes that can get ahead of them.
Why do you think the polls have given LSU the benefit of the doubt where the RPI – and the RPI is a reflection of a couple of things. Okay? First of all, the non-conference schedule was weak. And then, two of your 10 series, they're against the bottom feeders.
Yeah.
You not everybody got to play South Carolina and Missouri.
No, that's absolutely that is in play. I agree with you there. I think the only other team that got to play both Missouri and
South Carolina,
I think it was Georgia, but I'll look it up. But there was only one other team, and they played Mississippi State too, who is near the bottom. So that's a good point. But it also includes against 3 top 10 teams a 5-4 record. You beat Arkansas You beat Arkansas 2 out of 3, and I think that's why they were number 1 last week. You beat Alabama 2 out of 3, who's the number 9 RPI. You got 1 game against Texas, so that's 5 wins and 4 losses against RPI top 9 teams. That's favorable. I did not expect them to be number 1 in the polls today, I'll be honest with you. Losing 1 game to South Carolina I thought would be enough to knock them down a little bit. So when we look at baseball.
Who was 2 and 3 last week?
Florida State was last week.
Last week, yeah. Like who was behind? Who was in position to pass them up? Yeah.
Arkansas, Georgia, Texas.
Arkansas had a better weekend than LSU.
And Florida State.
But LSU beat them.
That's why beating Arkansas last week absolutely propelled them. I could have seen them drop in the polls a couple of spots for losing. They might have given North Carolina's 2 and 3 in these 2 for going to Florida State and winning 2 out of 3. Georgia took 2 out of 3 from Texas A&M. They're 3 in Baseball America. The national rankings are a lot less important than the RPIs, but I was a touch surprised that. Yeah.
So it's close projection, but there is a cushion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so I just again.
What's the highest RPI not to get a regional period? I mean, like when I'm saying on Alabama at 9 and not going to get a regional.
Yeah.
I mean that's.
And this is D1's projection. It's not necessarily a committee, but I got to think about it. I got to think about that.
Yes, it's not. It's not done yet, but
I know the highest RPI team not to make the tournament was LSU in 11, just because that happened here locally. But I'd have to do a little research to find
LSU was 11 RPI and didn't host.
No, they were 25 RPI and didn't make the tournament at all in 2011. So
what's their conference record that year?
It was
14 and 16.
12 and 18 or 13 and 17.
Okay.
They didn't make the SEC tournament. This was the old SEC tournament. That's why they changed the format. It was an 8-team SEC tournament. They didn't make it. They left them out. So that's when they changed the format of the SEC tournament. But no, you make a point. That would require a little research. Highest RPI ever not to at least host, if not be a top 8 national seed. So, look.
Florida's up to 13 RPI.
Yeah,
they're smoking, huh?
Took 2 out of 3 from Alabama, got to 15 and 15. That is now, I want to say, 13 and 3 in the last 16 games.
Started 1 and 11.
Yeah.
Or 1 and 12, maybe. I think they lost the first game of that year when they turned it around.
Yeah, so there's something like 14 and 3 or 14 and 4 since then. It's really good. They're playing great baseball. If they hadn't dug themselves out that big of a hole, they'd be a host site. But going to probably be, well, you know what? If they won the SEC tournament, they'd certainly make a stand to be a host site.
No. They did not lose the first game of the series once they got going, because they played Missouri. But you turned SEC. How about that? So you gained a lot of confidence after you played Missouri. Hey, they're back to reality, huh?
Yes.
They got 10 run ruled every game.
Oh, I know they got
composite.
Swept. It was
like,
bad.
I don't know, like 60 to 15 or something was the score. I mean,
and it's Mississippi State too, who's actually I got to give State a little credit. They got to 15 and 15 in the league. All 3 games were run rules. 25 to 7, 13 to 3, and 12 to 1.
12 and 3, 14 and 4.
That does not help.
14 and 4, Florida. Run.
Yeah, that doesn't help Texas A&M feel any better about their sweep at the hands of Missouri. Watching what happens. It makes it worse.
Oh, 100%. Yes. I mean, these are guys that come in and sweep you when you're on the bubble to try and get into the tournament, and State goes in there and just this is a team that fired their coach.
Yeah.
I mean, so how would they perform? But how below expectations have they performed? If they fire the coach and they go and, just destroy the team that destroyed you the week before.
4, 5, 6, I'm counting run rules, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They were run ruled in 12 of their 27 losses in SEC play.
What were they this weekend? I mean, they
lost 25 to 7, 13 to 3, and 12 to 1. The only reason the first game wasn't shortened to 7 innings.
I sold it 50-11.
Yeah, the only reason they weren't run ruled in the first game in 7 innings instead of 9 was they got 10 runs in the ninth.
That's right.
State did.
Okay. So. Yeah, the one they didn't run rule, they won by 18.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I detoured off my earlier commitment on Otterlocks and said, I'm going to take Missouri every game. I think they got one more in them. They hit one, I'm going to profit. By Saturday, I was laying the runs with Mississippi State. No.
How many did you lay?
6.5.
Covered room spare?
Yeah.
No problem.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, a Legacy Title for all of you real estate closings. 296-0060, a full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional service with our great staff. Ashley Bonham Donald, Mariana Broussard Haynes, Adrian Reese-Galata, Michael Platt, and Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title. 296-0060.
Live at Big Mike's. Live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we return here at Big Mike's. We're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Man, if you're hurt, if you've got an old injury that's acting up on you, been in a car accident, a sports-related injury, let Dr. Michael Goff and his staff get you to feeling better. They've done it so many times for members of my family. So whether it's just getting you into the program and getting you into an exercise and stretching routine that's going to loosen some things up, or you need a dry needle or electric nerve stimulation, cryo, ultrasound therapy, let them be the ones to alleviate your discomfort. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla. Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. All right, we don't talk a ton of softball on the show, but we need to bring this up. Just want to talk about this for a second. LSU was eliminated from the regional that they hosted this weekend with 2 losses to Southeastern. My softball people that I talk to tell me that Southeastern was terribly underseeded, and if that's the case, that's fine. But under no circumstances is LSU supposed to lose even one softball game in the tournament to Southeastern, much less 2. You lose a midweek game, that happens. It happens to the baseball team every year, happens to the softball team every year. That is of no consequence. You lose twice in a regional, and well, that's going to get everybody's attention. Southeastern may have, in fact, been
68 RPI.
68 RPI. They won 50 games. They're a very good team. But when they played Nebraska, they lost the 2 games by a combined score, I think, of 22-1. And now they emptied the tank against LSU. I watched the game Saturday night. It was emotional. It was one of those. It was an elimination game in a regional. So you understand, how those things go. But Southeastern was blasted by a Nebraska team who's got one of the best players in the country in the other 2 games. The regional is what it is. There's more talk about Beth Torina.
LSU was 5 RPI, by the way.
They were a 5 RPI. They were the 9th team in the SEC. They were seeded 9th, and they were the 10th national seed.
Well, they must have. They had some high-quality non-conference wins. They did schedule pretty good, huh?
Yeah, they had a good team. The RPI was good. The record was 500 in the Southeastern Conference, which you're the 9th seed in the conference. You are the 10th seed in the country. Okay, I'll tell you all you need to know about the SEC. You look at Torina's record on paper. She's been here since 2012. She has won 70% of her overall games. She has won 55% of her regular season games. They have been in a regional or a super regional every year that she's been here. She has been in a super regional 4 of the last 7 seasons. Some of these things they have hosted. She's been to the College World Series 3 times, but not since 2017. There is nothing on this resume on paper that suggests that Beth Torina should be fired. Okay, nothing. You win 70% of your games. You win 55% of your games in this conference. You're in the top 16 every year. That's not fireable offense.
How many? When's the last time they've been to the Final 8 College World Series softball?
17. 2017.
8 years?
It's been
a long
8 years.
time, Charlie.
It is.
It's a long time. I mean, should LSU, does LSU have, where they are, you think, as far as resources, budget, in softball?
I'm going to be
probably the lower end of the top 10? 6 to 10?
From a facility standpoint, it's closer to the top. Their performance center is one of the, as I understand it, one of the best. How much NIL money they have to work with, I have no idea. I'm not even going to pretend to know. So if you want to say facilities, that's really good. NIL money, I don't know. There's nothing about this that says.
Yeah, but Charlie, if you don't go to the, if you don't make it to the College World Series for 8 straight years, no, that's underperforming.
And that's what you have to That's what you have to come to grips with. Do you want how good do you want to be in softball? Okay, first of all, there's not, to my knowledge, a slam dunk coach out there that you could go out there and hire and go, absolutely, they'll be in Oklahoma City next year. Not in this league. All right, Patty Gasso's not leaving Oklahoma. So you would take a chance on another coach, and maybe they'd be great, and maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. Like I said, these are not fireable numbers, but it is stale. It has plateaued. It's plateaued. Yeah. There's nothing that you look on there and go, man, that was just lousy. These were 2 bad games. I mean, you can't lose in the postseason, the Southeastern.
In the 8 years, they failed to make it to the Final 8. What, 4, 5, 6 times they got knocked out in the Super?
4 times in the Super. 3 times.
So made it half the time to the Super.
3 times in the region, and of course you got the COVID season that was canceled. So the last 7 years, 7 completed seasons.
I mean, half the time you're not finishing in the top 16.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I mean, so, and that's no. LSU's got more resources to.
This is what you finished in the Southeastern Conference: 9th, 6th, 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 5th, 2nd. That was in 2019. 5th and 6th. So you're in the middle of the pack. My thing is, if you're going to spend some more money on softball, I'd rather give her the money today. I'd rather give her the money and let her go shopping to see if she can upgrade the talent level rather than try with a new coach for at least one more year. My thinking is this: if I'm Scott Woodward and I'm looking at the athletic department as a whole, okay, I'm going to fire the softball coach who's in the top 16 or so every year. But I'm going to give the basketball coach who can't see 12th place without a pair of binoculars, I'm going to give him another year. So if I'm going to be fair about the whole big picture of the department, I'm going to give her another year. But I'm not going to deny that the program has plateaued.
I don't think they're making a change. But this result, and when you lose to an in-state school like that twice,
that gets your attention.
She's got pressure next
year. If they had lost to Connecticut, it wouldn't feel as bad. And Southeastern's probably better than Connecticut, okay? But it's
still
Southeastern. You're right. The perception of it is you lost to Southeastern twice when everything counted in your park. That can't happen.
No,
that can't happen.
I mean,
so I wouldn't fire. I don't think she deserves to be fired. But if you want to be better than this, you have essentially you've got a 500 record in the conference the last 5 years. I think you're 3 games above 500 the last 5 years.
A friend was asking me before the first loss to Southeastern this weekend. This was Friday at Rufino's, and said, "Man, are they going to make a change with softball before this?"
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know, but I mean, she has plateaued, and that's just it looked like this thing was, you fell into the hire because you're bringing in a guy at first, and he got, cold feet, whatever.
Pat Murphy,
and then she kind of hits, she was kind of hot. She got it rolling for a little bit.
She made the World Series 4 of her 6 years.
There you go. Okay. And that's how long ago? I mean, so
she's been in since 2012.
It's declined.
It has.
It's just declined, but I think look, I don't know about all of it. I think this is going to just put a lot of pressure on her for next year.
It will.
And
you got to make up your mind how much money you want to spend on this. Are you going to give her
spending enough on it?
Well,
to me,
I don't know how much they're spending, so I can't say that for sure. But
I think everybody minus Oklahoma in the league is pretty damn. They all got comparable resources.
I expect them to beat Southeastern. That's not that's not overreaching.
No, you don't.
Okay?
That gets coaches fired.
Yes, you can't.
Yes.
You can't lose those games.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Don't forget our friends also at Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Lee, just off of Nicholson, across from Mike Anderson's. Yes, indeed. Great stuff. Love going over there and getting the tacos, the fajitas, the burritos, the enchiladas, you name it. Hey, how about the Mexican pizza as well? They even do a gyro tacos, man, little Lebanese style. So, Joe, check them out. Happy hour is 7 days a week, 2:30 to 6:30 at Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Lee, just off of Nicholson, across from Mike Anderson's.
Live at Big Mike's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we return here at Big Mike's Bike Night a week from this Wednesday. All the motorcycle guys out in the front, they do a big deal for that. But there's always something going on here, whether it be line dancing or you get bingo cards with your menus. You can win items off the menu. Great place for your fantasy football drafts. We're starting to think about that as we get into the summer here at Big Mike's. Again, if you missed at the top of the show, William Tate has resigned at LSU as the system president. He is going to take that same position at Rutgers. Tate has been at LSU since 2021. Governor appoints a new president, subject to approval by the Board of Supervisors. So we'll continue to keep you up to date on that story. If any more, we talked about, though, at least one potential candidate a little bit earlier on in the show. Hour number 2 coming straight ahead. We got to get to some of the.
You think LSU? You think you put them at 7? You think that's going to right around when it's going to be? I thought they'd be a little higher.
I think they're going to be a little bit better. And it's important to remember these are D1's projections. This is not the committee's, final.
No, but
that's a week
they're
from
trying
today.
to project.
They're trying to project it.
Yeah, they're not saying this is what if we were the. No, they're trying to predict.
My own personal ones, they would be 5th.
I think I got a spot or two higher too.
They would be 5th. Hour number 2 straight ahead here at Big Mike's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And a return here at Big Mike's. Come on out and see us for lunch. Great lunchtime crowd here. And a terrific happy hour, one of the best anywhere in the area from 3 until 7, Monday through Friday with draft and bottled domestic beers here for $2.50 and $4 Wells, $4 wines at $5 Wells, $5 wines at Big Mike's. I think a couple of updates, corrections from the first hour.
One thing too, Charlie, man, the TV setup in here is awesome.
It is,
huh?
and you hold high standards on your TV set.
Yes. So, and I mean, this is a great spot to watch games. So, I mean, of course, this week we're going to have wall. When do they start in Hoover?
Tomorrow.
I mean, 11 a.m., 10 a.m.?
9:30, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have all day in the games. So, man, you can – and it's cool, though, we put on the ACC network for their tournament and some others. So, it's man, this is a time. And so if you're looking to watch some college baseball for postseason, man, it's a good spot.
It is. A couple of updates, corrections from the first hour. Softball Super Regional format started in 2005, so it was a few years after I had said the baseball started in 1999. Softball went to it in 2005, and to my knowledge, no number 1 seed has been knocked out. And in the regional round, I think I had Southern Miss in the wrong conference when I said in Coosa. They finished second in the Sun Belt, but right now D1's got them projected to host Coastal Carolina, won the Sun Belt, and Troy is going to get an at-large out of that league. I'm almost certain. They got an RPI in the low 40s, 37 wins. I'm pretty sure they're going to get in. Not as good of a year for the Raging Cajuns. They're going to need to win the Sun Belt tournament to have any chance there. You asked me about the. You asked me about the seedings and again, it's important this is just D1's projections. This is not etched in stone, and they're going to update this every day this week. Every day, well, starting tomorrow because there's no baseball today. But starting tomorrow, they're going to update this every day. So you're going to see some slight changes. I have no problem with Texas as the number 1 seed. They won the SEC at 22-8, and that's enough. I know that they're 4 in the RPI behind 3 SEC teams, but I got no problem with Texas being number 1. They went to Oklahoma and won this weekend. And
they won a regular season championship in the best league.
Yes,
by multiple games. Huh?
Yes. So
how many games?
The two. Over Arkansas, 2. So I got no problem with Texas being the number 1 seed. That's who I would have there. Arkansas finished second in the number 1 league. They have the 2 seed. And I don't have a big problem with that either. They're 5 in the RPIs. They did win the series this weekend against Tennessee. Before that, they had lost the series at LSU. They swept the series at Texas. So in the last 9 games against 3 really good teams, they were able to win 6 out of the 9. So I don't have a problem with Arkansas being number 2, even though before that they had lost 3 straight series. But they got it going in the last 3 weeks of the season. So I got no problem with that. Vanderbilt at number 3. Okay, you got the same amount of wins as LSU. You have a slightly higher RPI. I don't have a problem with that. They've got 15 Q1 wins. That is tied for second most behind only Texas. So I don't have a problem with that. North Carolina is a little bit tougher for me to get them in front of LSU. They're the 4 seed. They have 8 Q1 wins. LSU's got 5 more than that. Their conference record was 18-11. LSU's was 19-11 in, a much tougher league. I give Carolina a lot of credit for going to Florida State and winning 2 out of 3. They beat Jamie Arnold the other night, who's one of the top arms in the country. I think the Heels are –
They had a tougher non-conference schedule?
Their non-conference schedule, it was tougher, but it wasn't tough. It was tougher than LSU's. Their non-conference strength of schedule was 126. LSU's was 221. So their strength of schedule overall is almost identical because the SEC was that much better. But
yeah, they could be ahead of them. They could be behind them. So
it's very close. It's very close.
Might determine what happens this weekend.
Georgia is the number 1 RPI team in the country, so they're right in front of LSU. LSU was 1 game ahead of them in the standings. They've got a few more wins. That Georgia's still number 1, because their non-conference strength of schedule wasn't all that great either. It was 81. I mean, it was well behind Auburn's. It was a little bit behind Vanderbilt's. It was, let's see, who else? It was in front of Texas. Texas didn't have a very good non-conference schedule either. And
wow.
You're right about one thing, Jimmy. The Missouri factor. And to
Missouri, South Carolina.
South Carolina and Missouri, if you played those teams,
guess what?
It was going to affect your RPI an awful lot. And
Georgia played Missouri, not South Carolina.
Yeah. So getting both of them, it ended up being a benefit. So Georgia, hey, it's close. Auburn, 2 fewer SEC wins than LSU, but 3 more Q1 wins than LSU, and they've got the sweep against LSU in the regular season. Also, the number 1 strength of schedule in the country. So I don't
really? Auburn. Wow.
So I don't have a problem with them.
So they must have avoided both Missouri and South Carolina, huh?
They did. And
yeah.
So if it was me, I would probably have LSU in front of North Carolina.
They salvage a game in Oxford?
Auburn?
They lost the first 2, right?
Yeah, they did. They got 1.
They got 1, yeah.
Auburn got 2 out of 3.
No, they lost 2 out of 3.
I'm sorry, lost 2 out of 3. And they actually
hit what's the name, hard, huh? This game 2, Friday. Dutton?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did. That's 2 bad outings in a row.
Yeah.
For him. They did not play Missouri. They did play South Carolina. They did play South Carolina. So they got 1 out of the 2. They also played Mississippi State, who was kind of down the line a little bit, but although not nearly as far. So I could quibble 1 or 2 spots for LSU.
Who are we saying might so we know South Carolina, Missouri not making it. Who was the 3rd team that was in danger?
A&M.
A&M's out.
Yeah.
They lost 2 out of 3 again at Georgia. They got to be out after losing Missouri. And then Missouri gets smashed by Mississippi State. State's in. So everybody else at 13?
Well, everybody plays in the SEC tournament.
No, 13 in the NCAA tournament.
Yes, 13 in the NCAAs. And
you worried about Ole Miss for a little bit? They're playing fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah,
they're fine. they're not even in the first. None of those 3 SEC teams. A&M's not even in the first 4 teams out. They got to win the. They got to win the SEC tournament to get in.
Let me see what if they got updates on to make it to the. What's favorite to win it all is Arkansas. LSU and Tennessee are co-second choices, huh? How about that?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Georgia, Auburn's 25-1 now, so they went to 40-1, 30-1. Southeastern Conference tournament odds. Arkansas is a favorite. LSU second choice. Vandy and Texas, Tennessee.
14 with the double buys. Sure. I can tell you what some of the things that jumped out to me with these projections besides the top 8 is Georgia Tech won the ACC. Okay, finished in front of North Carolina. Finished in Florida State. They're a borderline. They're a bubble. They're bubble top 16 right now. D1's got them as the 16th best team. Somehow, even with that record in the ACC, they are a 20 RPI. Their strength of schedule was 28, so it wasn't all that bad. Yet here they are, kind of hanging on. The projection was Tennessee going to Georgia Tech. How'd you like to have that? Now Tennessee's lost 5 series out of 6, so they've slumped. But boy, if they ever figure it out, from a talent standpoint.
What are you asking again?
Tennessee's going to, in this projection, is going somewhere as a 2 seed. Okay.
Charlotte, Tennessee's not playing well.
They're not. No, they've lost 5 out of 6
and
series.
I understand the danger. I mean,
I would just hate to see them, just in case they figure it out.
They're a little bit of. Now, it wasn't like they were ever in danger of getting in like Florida was last year. I mean, they could have been flat out left out.
Or Ole Miss 3 years ago.
Okay, but Florida still went to Stillwater. They won it. And then lost to the Super. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. You think the same kind of, even though I kind of get the same little feeling with Tennessee. They're dangerous, but you can't give them a regional.
No, I don't want to give them. I'm talking about from Georgia Tech's standpoint. If I'm Georgia Tech and I won the ACC, I got 2 teams that I finished in front of in the conference standings. They didn't play either one of them.
I mean,
and then I get sent an SEC team as my 2 seed.
It happens. Okay,
no doubt.
That Wichita State team was undefeated, and they were great. Well, who they got to play in the second round? An underseeded Kentucky team who had playing all freshmen and who were way better in March when they were in January. And so, and it was one of the best games, high-level games. I mean, it was a Final Four, a championship-level game. I mean, it was a great game. But, it's just bad luck, I mean, that's where they're going to be seeded. They should be seeded, and Georgia Tech gets what they get.
Some of these other, what I would call,
they avoid? Let me ask you real quick. Do they avoid completely 2 seeds with a 1 at a SEC host?
Yes.
Okay,
but not as a cross one on the Supers.
No, the Super. I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, guess what? Yeah, this is part of getting a good SEC team.
I'm about to tell you about the rest of them. The TCU regional, for instance, says Oklahoma is a 3 seed. How would you like to see them? And of course, these won't all be exactly how it goes down. But sending to TCU, Texas San Antonio, who won the American by 5 games. Okay, now the American was lousy this year. They're a 1-bid league, but they won it by 5 games. Southern Miss, congratulations, you get to host. They send them Ole Miss, who would be a pretty doggone dangerous.
That would be a rematch
3
years ago when Ole Miss went there and beat them and won the first one, and clobbered them in the second game.
Clemson, congratulations, you get to host. You get Alabama as a number 2 seed.
Clemson's tapered off though.
They very much so. Now they swept Pittsburgh this weekend. Pittsburgh's lousy, but they won They won all 3.
Yeah.
But before that, no, they had lost 3 series.
They kind of tailed off a little bit. No, they were as hot as anybody in the country. Florida's the hottest team in the country. I mean,
probably unless
13-3 run in the SEC.
Yeah. Florida State would get Mississippi State as a 3. Would you like to see Mississippi State and Pico Cone go in there as a 3 seed? I wouldn't.
How have they done since they made the coaching change? I mean, they killed Missouri, but they swept Kentucky.
They swept Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think
Kentucky come back in.
I think they're
how about
7-2.
Those losses, Charlie?
I think 7-2.
They blew 2 ninth-inning leads in Nashville.
Yeah.
I mean, a 2-out 3-run homer on Thursday night and Friday. Another one. They were up 2 runs again in the ninth.
I had them Saturday. I took the Slim Reaper, and he they got beat.
They got swept.
Yeah, they lost by 1, 1, and 2.
Yeah, the first two
in the 3 games. Yeah, it was a rough weekend for them. They would go. Kentucky would go to Coastal Carolina as a 1 seed. This is one of those regionals where the 1 seed would not be the favorite. Coastal Carolina would be the home team, but if you send NC State and Kentucky in there, I don't think that Coastal Carolina would be the favorite. Florida State would be a favorite with Mississippi State in there. I'm not sure Georgia Tech would be a favorite with Tennessee in that regional. Even as bad as Tennessee's playing.
No, Tennessee is so public. They won't. No, I'm not saying who should win.
Yeah,
but I mean, as far as the betting odds, no, Tennessee's going to be favored.
And I have to.
They love Tennessee is third choice to win it all.
Yeah. And I have to be fair with Georgia Tech. They did win the ACC, but they didn't play either Florida State or North Carolina.
Oh.
So you caught the favorable schedule, and you won the league by half a game.
Oh, the SMU football schedule. There you go.
And Florida State lost 3 games to the shooting tragedy that they didn't play. So they were 3 games short of a full schedule. Remember, they had the shooting on campus, and they canceled all the games that weekend, as they should have. But so they were 3 games short. But Georgia Tech won the league. Georgia Tech won the league. By the way, the other teams that would be in the LSU regional, Miami, Arizona, and Miami of Ohio. So I think they're being a little bit cute. Arizona, Jay Johnson's former team. LSU certainly got a history with Miami. If they sent that group to LSU, that would be pretty brutal. 2 major conference teams like that.
All right, here it is. So Vandy's down 2 on Thursday night. They get the 2-out, 3-run homer to steal that one. Game 2 on Friday, Vandy's winning by 2. Kentucky scores 3 in the top of the 9th to take a 1-run lead. Bottom of the 9th, 2-run walk-off homer.
Vandy been winning some close games. Those close games at Tennessee. They had 7 runs in the last 2 innings to win the deciding game in that series against the Vols. So.
Tony V was acting up again this weekend in Fayetteville.
I didn't see it.
Just being,
and the sun has risen in the east. That guy.
I love how they say, man, he's kind of mellowed out. Oh, when they were winning every game last year.
Yeah.
Oh, now.
First time he's been thrown out of a game in 2 years.
Yes. He's really well behaved when his team's winning.
National championship year, didn't get thrown out once.
No, indeed. Oh, man. Don't forget our friends over at Total Maintenance. Total Maintenance, yes, indeed. Now is the time. Look, I mean, nobody goes to sleep pod. That's the whole thing, okay? Service today, every day means nobody is going to go sleep pod. So that we leaning on those ACs now. It was steamy this past weekend. It's only getting hotter. 480-1000. 480-1000. It's one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC heating companies since 1980. I've been dealing with been working with Lucas Ragusa for so many 30 years or so. So he's a driving force behind his company, man. He works hard and, man, really has a great staff that they work hard to. Pleasant to deal with when they come over to your house as well. Just a polished outfit. Total Maintenance, it breaks down on you. Again, same-day service means you'll never sleep hot. Call today. Get service today. 480-1000. Total Maintenance.
Live at Big Mike's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're brought to you in part by Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners when it comes to retirement. There are no two situations alike, so let Coastal Capital Advisors work with you, as well as your business partners, your legal team, tax professionals, and make sure all your goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you and develop a lifetime plan no matter what your age or your financial situation. They'll tailor-make a plan to work for you, and I know for sure because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his staff, 337-981-1376. Online, coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, member FINRA SIPC. I know one thing. We're going to have an NBA champion that has not been a champion in a really long time, or in at least
somebody's got to win it.
In one case, ever.
You like that?
Yes.
A little fresh air, huh?
Listen, as much as I despise the regular season product, I am happy that in the last 5 or 6 years The Bucks have won one. The Nuggets have won one. The Raptors have won one. I mean, give me somebody outside of the tradition. I mean, it doesn't have to be the Lakers and the Celtics every damn year, or the Warriors or the Spurs. And not for nothing, but I can do without LeBron in the finals too. I'm just fine having some of the new blood there. So if you're the Thunder, obviously you've never won it in Oklahoma City. They won it in '79 as the Supersonics.
That's right.
Back that was the Dennis Johnson team. So Oklahoma City's never won it in this venue. The Timberwolves
went to the finals one time against the Heat.
That's right, and lost that when they had the big three.
That was the Heat's first one.
The Heat's first one, and Oklahoma City had.
The Heat were LeBron's first.
Yeah,
okay.
And they had Harden and Westbrook and Durant. That OKC team, right? That got to the finals.
Man,
I think it was.
Did they have all those?
I think Harden was the sixth man at the time, I believe.
I know that team lost to the Lakers one year.
Yeah, I think that team that was one of the teams that lost to them.
That's
Timberwolves have never been there. The Knicks, I think this is fairly common knowledge because they put it up on the screen a gazillion times. Haven't won it since '70. Willis Reed and Wilt Chamberlain in the finals. And the Pacers have never won an NBA title, though they did win 3 ABA titles. But even that, you got to go back to 1973. So somebody is going to be really excited about their basketball for the first time in a long time. I can't tell you I've got a rooting interest. I am a little surprised that the Thunder are as big of favorites as they are. I understand them being the favorites, but you're telling me that they're fairly substantial favorites. I think this is going to be a great series with Minnesota. And
I think so?
Yeah, I do.
You think Minnesota?
I think Anthony Edwards has got to be better than he was in the last series. But yeah.
Oh, he had a bad half. That was it.
Right.
It was bad.
But he's got to be great, don't you think? For them to beat this team, I think he's got to be great.
Look, man, the Oklahoma City they caught another big break. Gordon's a big player, boy. He's pulling that ham,
and he was playing yesterday. Boy, he was laboring.
They were thin. They were thin to begin with.
Yeah.
And so with him, man, look, the Denver had him, Charlie. They could have. The Oklahoma City is vulnerable for such a big favorite. I'll say that. The other thing that comes to mind, I'm trying to think. The only team that's been this far, has had some recent playoff seasoning, is the longest shot on the board. The Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
Well, they were in the conference finals last year. None of these other teams were. But, man, they're the longest shot. Look, they bet the Knicks like the games are over, okay? Everybody's all in on the Knicks. But the Oklahoma City, I think, T-Wolves, it's just –
haven't the Pacers been the most dominant over their opponents?
What am I saying? Minnesota went to the conference finals last year. They lost to Dallas.
They did.
I'm sorry.
But haven't the Pacers been the most dominant of the teams?
Okay, but Milwaukee was shorthanded.
They were.
Cleveland, shorthanded.
To
be fair.
Yeah, no, that's accurate.
But, no, I think Indiana is – hey, look, you just watch Halliburton. And, God – what's the big one? Miles
Turner.
Oh man, look, they're very dangerous. They're very dangerous. They're good. I just don't know how good they are. Defensive and rebounding. Usually, it takes a little bit higher level on that aspect of the game to win it all. And I don't know how good they're better. Defensive in him, and they've really been. Yeah, they've been good, and that run last year should help them. They should benefit from that run last year. And they ran into Boston was really good last year. So
they've also got a coach that has been around a long, long time. This is a guy who's a veteran of the playoff wars. He's won an NBA title in Rick Carlisle. Mm-hmm. That should count for something. That he's got as much. That guy's probably coached 150 playoff games in his life, or somewhere in that area. That's not nothing.
Yeah, because the new era coach in the NBA is the guy that looks like he's the ball boy, and don't say anything. You're not allowed to yell at your players. It's just like, hey, look, just
everybody be nice.
Yeah, it's a now Carlisle's not like an in your face type. They just don't allow it.
Right.
Players will run you off if they got in their face in that league. But no, Charlie, he does. He got it's unusually much more experience in the post. Never won it though.
Yeah, he won it with Dallas.
He was the head coach at Dallas.
The
Nowitzki
team.
Okay,
yeah.
Nowitzki against the Heat. The 4-2. Huh. Okay. No, man. I mean,
guy's solid. Very good coach.
No, that's a hell of a run. It's just unusual in today's NBA. Yep. So anyway, all right. Let me open the door for this.
Open it.
She's got 3 plates of food. Oh,
hey, eat outside. The new weather's nice today.
I tell you what, I give the Jimmy Ott stamp of approval on these new TVs over here. Big Mike. Big Mike ain't playing around, man.
Oh man,
the damn Indy cars look great on that TV.
They're a lot bigger.
Yes.
Than the old TVs.
Yes.
A lot bigger.
Yes, indeed. So it is awesome stuff. Total Diamond Performance. Our friends over at Total Diamond Performance, man, it is time. You know what? And the kids are about to get out of school. And so you got even more. It's time for our summertime camps, man. Yes, indeed. Go to tdpbaseball.com for the baseball and softball skills camps, man. So for summertime, best way to register, go to nick@tdpbaseball.com, nick@tdpbaseball.com. But summer baseball camps just around the corner with summertime when the kids get out of school. tdpbaseball.com.
Live at Big Mike's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're brought to you in part by the Thibodaux Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. Cajun Cooking Specialties, salt cookware shipped right to your door. And right now they got sale items on the website that include grills and gas griddles. If you're cooking outside this summer, get your outdoor cooking equipment from the Thibodaux Store. That includes the Big Green Egg cookers, the ultimate cooking experience, and all the accessories that go with the Big Green Egg. And look, Jimmy, I can cook with it.
Tell you, man, the backyard looks like the Vatican right now with the white smoke coming up.
Check out all of the grills that you can get at doitbest.com/Thibodaux Store. Don't forget, with Father's Day about a month away, the custom-made Cypress furniture that you can get for Dad, the rockers, the chairs, the benches, the swings, the gliders, all of it available at both the Thibodaux Store and the Pierre Parts Store, their sister property that's been in business for 113 years now, and Pierre Parts.
If you are an outdoor cook, you like to grill, you like to cook, like a tailgating and things like that, like me, you got to go check this place out. I mean, it's just that simple. You're going to be you saw me, Charlie, huh?
Yeah.
It was like I got my coffee, man.
It was
look at this.
Fabulous.
Give me one of these. Give me one of these.
Kid in a candy store.
Oh, it's awesome,
at the Thibodaux Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. This is not breaking any news here, and this is not a new topic. It's just a renewed frustration. So I'm going to throw this out there, Jimmy, because I know you watch this stuff. Yesterday, Paul Skeens threw 8 innings of one-run baseball at the Philadelphia Phillies. This is the Phillies lineup, right? This is Bryce Harper. This is Trey Turner.
Yeah, no, it's a good lineup.
This is Kyle Schwarber, okay?
Yeah.
This is no chump. Yeah. 3 hits and 1 walk in 8 innings and 1 run, 9 strikeouts. And they lost 1-0. Time before that, against the Mets. It's a pretty good lineup too, right? Mm-hmm. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 walks, 1 run. And they lost that one. Time before that, St. Louis, 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts, and basically 1 base runner per inning, and they lost that one. You get the idea. This is what Paul Skeens has had to do. He's 3-5. Okay, he has an ERA of less than 2.5. It's in the top 15 in the league, and it's a WHIP of under 1, well under 1 actually, and it's in the top 10 in the league. He had to throw 6 1/3 innings of shutout baseball with 9 strikeouts and no walks at the Dodgers. It's a pretty good lineup too, right?
Yeah.
Kind of expensive. Okay, that's what it took for him to win that game. He threw a good game against Washington where he threw 6 innings of 1-run baseball and 7 innings of shutout baseball at Tampa to win. His 3 wins this season. This is what it takes for Paul Skeens to win a decision, okay? 6 1/3, 6 innings and 7 innings, 19 and a third innings of 1-run baseball. That's what it's taken for him to get 3 wins. And in those 3 wins, he has struck out 21 and walked 0. He's got to be perfect. I mean, he literally almost has to be perfect for them to win a game. They've lost 1-0. They've lost 2-1. They've lost 4-3. They've lost 3-0. I mean, listen, I know he's there for a long time because he just has to be. That's the rules of baseball. But he got to be getting somewhat frustrated if he hasn't been for, kind of since he got there.
We've been talking about this for 2 months. It's just it's constant. It's not going away. He's got a losing record, and he's a favorite to be the NL Cy Young.
That's amazing.
I mean, 3-5. Hey, at least we've monitored. You want to talk about maybe some analytics or some advanced statistics, and sometimes that they're such an important component, a piece, but not just to decide everything. But man, keep in mind the win-loss record is so it's diminished how important it is. We've gotten past that. And the one, I mean, remember what DeGrom did that one year? And I think he had was it losing around 500.
He led the league in ERA and he had a losing record.
Well, I mean, he lost like 12 1-0 games or something. They scored like one or less runs, like 18 games, 18 of his starts, the Mets that year. But he's plus 180, and it's a sizable lead, Charlie. Yamamoto from the Dodgers is second choice at plus 380. So I mean, he's a significant favorite to win. Now he's got, his stats are really good. They're not. They're still they got some other guys that are just as good statistically.
The strikeouts are not. He's not.
The strikeouts are not.
Guys.
The strikeouts are down.
And
strikeouts are down. He's basically a strikeout an inning, right?
Yes, he's exactly a strikeout an inning, and it's a little bit higher walk total. It's not outrageous. It's a little bit higher walk total. It's 16 in 62 innings, so he's still well below the curve. If you take out the game that they scored 10 against Washington, okay, they're averaging 2 runs a game in his other 8 starts. So one game they get loose against the Nationals. Everything else, they're averaging 2 runs a game. I just don't. I can't imagine the frustration.
It's getting old real quick, and I mean, I don't.
And he's been up a year, about a calendar
year.
A
little over a year.
Yeah, right. So last May he comes up, and at some point you get tired of beating your head against the wall. But he's got a long way to go.
Because last year he couldn't get the wins because they had him on that tight pitch count.
That's right. And they fired the manager. Okay, fine. I mean, you're rearranging the deck chairs,
Yep.
If you're not going to spend any money. You remember, you brought up DeGrom. This is my favorite in the all-time no support. The year Nolan Ryan led the league in ERA and finished 8-16. You remember that one? I'm pretty sure.
I remember Steve Carlton.
I'm pretty sure it was he went.
They had a losing record and he won that.
He won 27 games and they won, I think, 60 total. Or something like that. Is that the year you're talking about?
Oh no,
he was like 27-3, and the team was like 64-98.
Oh no. Oh yeah, I think one year though he had to lose. Was it? No, that's right. They were last place team.
He won almost half of their games that year. Ryan led the league in ERA and lost twice as many decisions. As I can't remember if that was with the Astros or with the Rangers. I think it was with the Astros.
I tell you what, you talk about another team that fired their manager too. It's not producing. Baltimore, Charlie. Baltimore's $1.50, $1.60 favorite every night. They are terrible. It is unbelievable. Everything was heading in the right direction. Last year they didn't try and. They didn't make any moves. That's the problem. And the guy like, a phenom like Jackson Holliday, he's not good. I mean, he's you got to be getting a little worried about this guy's going to be a bust or not. He does so many things well, though. His fielding is super sharp in the field, runs the bases well. But he's not a tremendously big guy, and he's got a big swing for a smaller guy. Now, when he gets it, it's beautiful. He's got a beautiful swing, but damn, he's just not good. I mean, this is second stint, trying to go. So they've got they get hammered. They got swept this past weekend at home by the Nationals. I mean, they are, minus the White Sox and the Rockies, they're broke. And they were expected to be really, really good this year. So
they were. They were supposed to be.
They finally put Nolan on IL. You know, I mean, because it was by far his worst start. We talked about it. And then one of his worst starts ever. I mean, they had a 5-1 lead, and he couldn't get out the third. You know, he gave up 9 earned runs. I think it was a career high.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a Cardinals game. So, they put him on the IL right after that. His ERA is over 6, you know, so he's maybe, we talked about how he's finally missing starts. The first time in his career, right? Because he had 5 years in a row. Whatever.
Yeah, he did not miss. Did not miss a start. Now let me ask you on the other side. We've been talking about this since he started out so rough. Dylan Cruz came out of the gate really, really slow, and then for about 2 weeks toward the end of April, he got real hot. He got got his average out of the cellar. In May, he's hitting 151. Yeah, again.
They got him batting 9th in the lineup. I made a hell of a catch the other day.
Yeah, the defense. You still see him with the web gyms. From time to time,
and he can run too. You know, he's very aggressive when he gets on. But it's just
second time through the league. You know, they're making adjustments on him. I don't watch it enough to know. I'm just asking because he's such a good hitter, and I
know, but Charlie,
but right now he's not hitting well, and.
You hope he's. It's way early to try and get, but you got to be a little concerned. This ain't no lock that you're gonna be. You mean that great prospects just don't pan out,
and you drop them in the lineup to 9. So what does that do? It takes some of the pressure off of you of hitting in the top of the lineup, but it also probably means you see less fastballs. Usually that's the case. And that makes it that makes it a little bit harder on you. So
he went 2 for 4 yesterday.
He did have 2 hits yesterday. 2 of the last 4 games he's had 2 hits, but it's been a rough May. Been a rough May for him down at.
And where he was the second pick in the draft. Where was Holiday?
First or second?
Yeah. I mean, way up there.
Yeah.
And
Cruz at 191 for the season so far.
Cruz, how about that? Was Jose Cruz Jr. a big prospect?
Oh, yeah, he was.
Well, how'd he pan out?
Not well.
Yeah, no, really wasn't it, So, I mean, it's let me see what I'm interested to see what Jackson Holliday's hitting right now. He is hitting – he's back. Oh, he's up to 275 now.
Oh, you're fine then.
He's up to 275. He is because they had him batting, but now he's batting leadoff. Okay, so he's starting to catch on a little bit. His last game he's on – well, he had hit all 3 games this weekend. He had multi-hits. So he's finally good because before this, he had 7 hits this weekend, but 1 or less hits, like a lot before that. So
we're brought to you by Total Maintenance, AC and heating, generators, electricity, plumbing. Total Maintenance, your one-stop sales and service shop for all of these needs. Since 1980, they're saying nobody's going to sleep hot. They expanded their business into New Orleans, so full-service staffs in both areas. Authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem. AC units, Generac, and Cummins generators for all of your electrical and plumbing needs as well. In Baton Rouge, it's 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance. Take a break, come back, wrap things up here at Big Mike's in Denham Springs on Aspen Square, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Big Mike's, where happy hour is Monday through Friday from 3 until 7 and all day on Sunday. One of the best happy hour, significant discounts all the way around. A true happy hour here at Big Mike's.
Come check out the new TVs, man, in the ballroom, too. We are ready for postseason college baseball on TV. Yes, indeed.
We got at least one. We're going to get this information trickle in the rest of the afternoon. Bama's going with their ace tomorrow, Tyler Fay. They're
against who?
Against Missouri.
Oh, and they take
bring it. They believe they must that they are right there on that they need to make a little mini run in this tournament despite their RPI.
That's not what this means, Charlie. They need to avoid a bad loss.
Okay, that too.
Yeah, because if they're trying to make a run, you don't use up your best pitcher against Missouri.
You're bringing back on 4 days rest.
They think they're getting a regional, and they minus avoid just a real bad loss, because to make a run, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To make a run. No, you don't use your ace against Missouri. Hell no.
Well, what I meant was, to make a run, you got to win the first one, and you can't lose to Missouri. We're saying the same thing here, basically. D1 doesn't have them as a host site despite a 9 RPI. So I kind of thought if you'd asked me yesterday before I saw the D1 projections, I would have said Alabama was a host site but not a top 8. They think that they are outside of that. Now, so they're going to run their ace out there on 4 days rest to make sure that they don't lose to Missouri. Because if you lose to Missouri,
that's damaging.
Yeah, that's
damaging.
That will take care of it. For sure. And I wonder, LSU got.
I think that. I mean, that's hard not to get 40 wins. The finishing that high. I mean, the top 10 RPI. That's
16 and 14 in the league. 16 strength of schedule. 14 Q1 wins. No, I would have thought Alabama would have been a.
I think they'll would have
been a host.
You
know what else LSU's got going for them is they play the last game on Friday. They're the last team to take the field, so they will know a lot about what is going on in case anybody does try to sneak in the rearview mirror. Plus, it puts you on full rest, puts you on 7 days for Anderson, who pitched last Friday. If Jay Johnson follows his script that he did in 2023, he let Paul Skeens start that game. He gave him, I think it was 85 pitches, 87 pitches, and then got him out.
Yeah.
I would imagine that would be the same thing for Anderson.
Yeah.
I would not pitch him. I don't want him to go 2 weeks without pitching at all. But 75 to 85 pitches is plenty. And if they win, same thing for Ianson on Saturday.
Yeah, a little bit different approach with Maneri. Maneri's trying to win this thing. I mean, he was a little bit more committed to trying to win it than
he left his pitches in a little bit longer, and that was such a hard. This tournament, for LSU to win this tournament, they got to win 3 games in 3 days. It's like any other SEC series. That's why I like this single elimination format so much. You know me, the SEC tournament's been more of a survival thing than it has. There are years where I've actually, in my head, rooted for LSU to lose just so they go home and rest, because you're not. These rosters are not built to throw 5 games in 6 days. They're just not. And so if you got your seed locked up, and I think they do, get you guys out there, get them their work, and get them out. And that's what I think that Johnson will. That's what I think Johnson will do.
I've seen him do it. Yeah. No, but if they're borderline.
Now, if you're borderline, that's different. You got to go out, and there have been years where Maneri's teams had to go there trying to win to secure what they had. And I think they won it 5 or 6 times under him. They won a lot of those, I think. If you win this tournament, you can beat anybody. This tournament, when you get down to 4 teams, this tournament will be tougher than any regional. It's super regionals. You could put any 2 of them together. Probably won't, as tough or tougher than any of those. Yeah. It's a great collection of baseball talent is what you're going to see starting tomorrow morning.
Mississippi State, think they're going to keep the interim if they keep playing pretty good?
Nah, they want the guy from Duke, is what I'm told. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Oh, okay.
I think that's who they're trying to hire. Or if it works out, it works out.
2 straight. I mean, won 6 in a row, huh?
7 out of 9, I think.
7 out of 9.
What it is.
Won 6 in a row in the conference.
Is it 6 in a row in the conference?
Well, he swept Kentucky and Missouri.
Yeah, but I thought Kentucky was 3 weeks ago. I could be wrong about that. Is it 6 straight? No, they had Ole Miss in between them. They took 2 out of 3. It's actually 8 out of 9. They took 2 out of 3 from Ole Miss and swept Missouri and Kentucky. So, yeah, they fired him right before that. They lost, and they hadn't played a midweek game since then. So, yeah, they're in pretty good. They're in pretty good position to see what goes down there. You had a note on Jack Leiter before we.
Man. The Al Leiter's kid was great for Vanderbilt, and kind of been hurt a little bit in effect, but he had a no. Diaz broke up the no-hitter and led the comeback for the Astros win, but he had a no-hitter through 6 against the Astros yesterday. So some life out of him as well. So that's another underperforming team as well, kind of waiting for them to come around a little bit. But, shoot, man, Dodgers got beat this past weekend. The Padres got beat by the Mariners. I mean, it was, there was some of the big boys went down this weekend, and the Yankees took 2 out of 3 from the Mets. So
see Devers walking off for the Red Sox on Saturday night.
No, that was
Saturday night against.
That's the 1-1.
Yeah,
because they lost the other ones.
Yeah.
Because what's the name? Sale beat Crochet
Yeah.
Crochet got beat, but and then they blew him out yesterday.
They sent the owner to talk to Devers about maybe playing some first base, and he's like, "No, I'm the DH. Right now, his DH numbers are probably top 3 in the American League, top 2 in the American League. Since he got that terrible start."
Who?
Ask Devers if he go play some first. He had an injury at first. So you gonna go play some first? He goes, "No, I'm DH." So you remember all the stuff with
Well, no, the
Bregman
owner went down and talked to him.
Yeah, like last week,
like at Kansas City.
Yeah, and said, "Would you play first?" I said, "No."
I thought he was. I heard the results of the meetings were the meeting was productive.
It was. Devers told him he wasn't playing first.
Oh my God!
I guess if you homer to win the game, you can get away with that stuff. He's hitting now, though. I mean, he's
he is.
He's on fire after
okay.
that slow start. Thanks to the folks here at Big Mike's Happy Hour, 3 to 7, Monday through Friday, all day on Sunday. Always line dancing, bingo. Great place to have your fantasy football drafts here at Big Mike's. For Jimmy Ott, for Jordan back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon, and stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.